Hey, Mark Milstead sent me another list, and Mark is he's a true gentleman and a good player. He attended the Sealand Open, where he flew over, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable meeting you there, Mark. So he asked for my thoughts on this list, and I will of course give them. So this is what he's doing. I'm not sure what this is for, by the way. So it's a 1942 Bersaglieri MG platoon, Western Desert. So that looks and sounds to me like a theater platoon. Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I don't preview the lists. I don't go and check them. I just immediately react once I see them. So I do make mistakes, lots of mistakes. On rules and stuff for what each selector can bring. But if you spot any mistakes, please in the comments just write them up, and people can see them, and I can learn as well. But let's go over what Mark is doing here. He brings 999 points, 1 point left over, and 13 order dice. 13 order dice is a little low, in the low end of the Goldilocks zone. Ideally, I would have 14 to 15, but 13 is still okay. I've brought 13 to events and done well, so you can do that. I don't know the special rules for Bersaglieri MG platoons, but we'll see. The special rule is Bersaglieri MG motorbikes. Is this something on motorbikes? I think it is. Which makes this really interesting. This turns it into a recce platoon, a recce build. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, go and watch my video on army builds for bold action. So second lieutenant, veteran with 1 extra man. I think if you're going to run him veteran, I think he should have 2 men just to make him more survivable. He'll still be small team, and with a motorbike, he will have recce. That will make him very survivable. It also makes him expensive, 86 points, but very, very survivable. Then we have the Bersaglieri MG squad, 6 man with rifles, motorbikes as well. Now, I just wish that motorbikes were better, right? They sort of work the same as cavalry. They give you a lot of range, but they're just they're not very good. That's why we don't often see them competitively. This is going to be a fun army to play, though. And 6 men on motorbikes with rifles. Yes, you can do this successfully, right? Another unit of Bersaglieri, this time a 7-man squad, and then one more 6-man squad. So 3 units of motorbikes. That is a lot of contesting power, a lot of power to just throw up motorbiked units into where you need them to go. But you need the table to be right. You need there to be a lot of line of sight blocking terrain, ideally, because that will benefit you massively. The machine gun I don't like, and that's because it's fixed. So everything else that I've seen so far is very movable, maneuverable, it can escape, but this machine gun just sits there, chunk. And one thing is you're going to have to make sure you don't drive in front of where it wants to shoot. And the other thing is it locks down one lane with 5 shots, and that's just not a lot of locking down power. So I'm not a massive fan of the machine gun. I think I would rather have, if you could save the points and buy more MG squads, would be more beneficial to you, I think. I have a little bit the same issue with the mortar, although the mortar is of course competitively a lot better than the machine gun. It's again something that's very fixed. It sits there, it zeroes in on something, and it does provide you with an ability that the rest of this list so far hasn't got, the indirect fire and HE. But it's again something that sits there. It's fixed. It doesn't move. Whereas the rest of your list does move. It just clashes a little bit. The same with the artillery, by the way. wow, that's a lot of artillery. But then again, okay, let's think about this, guys. So you have a lot of backline support, and then you have the motorcycles just zooming up really quickly. This provides the support you need to clear objectives, because the motorbikes are not going to be able to clear objectives. All this artillery can. One thing that will happen is if you're playing key positions, like objective missions, you're going to need to have at least one objective sitting in your back line. So make sure once you set up Mark that you get one objective in your back line. He takes a medium howitzer. He takes 2 Berettas, which are autocannons. Love the autocannons. He takes Elefantinos, which are anti-tank guns. Not very good, but needed, I think, in order to push enemies away from you. I sort of like this. This is a lot of firepower that you set out and you just lock down the table and you wait for the enemy to approach you. If he does approach you, you'll shoot him to bits. 2 autocannons and 2 Elefantinos. Any tank that pushes up against you is going to get shot to bits. And your mortar and your medium howitzer is going to try and dig out his back lines at the same time. It actually makes a weird kind of sense. And then your motorbikes are just going to run up. So it's not truly a recce platoon so much as it is a it's a leaf blower list with very mobile objective grabbers. Like it. Very, very interesting. Very unusual build as well. The Autoblinder fits very nicely into your artillery park here because it again provides a light automatic cannon. This one can recce and can move. So this should go wherever the enemy tries to push and then just sit there and just shoot. The machine guns and the autocannon shoot. Both of those can go after infantry, but the autocannon, of course, can also go after tanks. And then an M14 with 3 machine guns. Lovely, lovely little Dakka tank. Good price for it. 8+, it's a vulnerable tank, but yes, it goes into the back lines. It provides another light AT gun. Really like that. Really like that. Motorbikes, 12-inch advance, 24 run. So what you should do is you should try to make sure that objectives are within 24 of your own backline, so your motorbikes can run up and grab them. They can do any number of turns, cannot react going down, but they can make an escape move. The unfortunate thing here is they can't shoot while moving, right? And they cannot assault. So they can't actually fight once they're on the motorbikes. They're just there as point grabbers, which is possibly all you need because the artillery is going to do all the fighting. You could run like 1 or 2 of them up onto objectives and then go off the motorbikes and just sit on the objective at some point, like turn 5 or 6. But before that, you're just going to blast away with the rest. I would even put out the machine gun, the motorcycle squads. I would place them in danger, so that you lure the enemy to shoot at you, and then as soon as you do, as he does, you just escape move behind line of sight blocking cover. Then he's wasted 1 shot at shooting at something that he can't actually kill. But that's a trick you're only going to be able to do once against each opponent. So, and there are counters to it, ambush on occasion, right? But if he goes on ambush, then all the rest of your stuff can sort of hurt him. So I really like this platoon. This was a nice and unexpected new army build. Right. Mark, I really hope you bring this to an event, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much for the list, and good luck. Cheers.